got a little crazy in her. Short bars with the mind of a sinner. All those dark thoughts, yeah, still a beginner. But you can tell that she's got a little demon in her. 'Cause she can make a man obsessed. She can make a man confess. She can make a man cut checks. 'Cause she looks better when she's undressed. Just a couple secret sinners. Yeah, she's just what he eats for dinner. She's easy to love, easy to hate. She tastes like a drug and she feels just the same. Bitter to the tongue, but a thrill on brain. A little bit crazy, but it's worth all the pain. She's a dark little artist with ink in her veins. She's been through the hardest, but prospered from pain. She appears to be heartless, surrounded by flames. But through all the darkness, her love is changed. She's dirty and sweet, but she's dirty underneath. If those flirty eyes could speak, lustful thoughts would rise.
Yeah, I'm on the laptop. Forgot to lace up my dress.
You never quite know what she did. But if you're lucky, she just might let you see what hides behind that is a dream. She's easy to love and easy to hate. She tastes like a drug, yeah, she feels just the same. Bitter to the tongue, but a thrill on brain. A little bit crazy, but it's worth all the pain. She's a dark little artist with ink in her veins. She's been through the hardest, but prospered from pain. She appears to be heartless, surrounded by flames. But through all the darkness,
Big outfit, thank you.
Her mind is all beautiful.
Forgot to lace it up.
You never quite know what she thinks. But if you're lucky, she just might let you see what hides behind nightmares and dreams.
I'm just fine, 'cause I got a belly and I got a bum and I'm fucking jelly of all the other ones with the itty bitty bellies and their bum 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 bum. I'm holding it to myself, but it's getting kinda hard when you're constantly feeling like garbage. Know I shouldn't hurt myself, but I can't find a way to lose weight without literally.
Goodness gracious.
Every other song says I'm beautiful. What if I don't feel like I'm beautiful? I wish nobody ever didn't say that I should be another kind of way. Maybe I'm not pretty, maybe I'm just fine. 'Cause I got a belly, I got a bum, but I keep it jelly of all the other ones. So I'm falling in love with them.
Yeah, guys, I'm good. How are you? This should be a more chill session, more likely. So I thought I would do some reading for my regulars if you'd like. I also have a true crime. Maybe I'm not pretty, maybe I'm just. Except for I know I'm just. All the other ones, 'cause I'm falling in love with mine. Maybe I'm just fine. How's everybody? Ready to blaze with me?
And it's all because I'm working on my energy. Cleaning up, I'm taking care of
want some Reiki? Thank you. 1, 2, 3.
Last year was a mess, but I'm growing up. Thanking God that I'm so blessed, yeah, you show me love. So go don't treat yourself on me, it's good to grow. And it's all because I'm working on my energy. Cleaning up, I'm taking care of myself and me. Drinking coffee, take a sip, they say I'm sparkling. Manifest it, write it down, you know it's happening. And I eat anything that I want. I got a belly, got a booty, got the I'm on the planet, and what I do it just for fun. See you watching, take a picture, then last for life. Cause we don't live in drama.
No, if you want beef, you're gonna get karma. Yeah.
We gon' be tell me that's the truth, I see fake. Yeah, that I'm tripping, cause I be doing me. Get there, that you should do. Switch your point of view, what's the change? Gotta talk to you.
No, that was the plan.
This last year was a mess, but I'm growing up. Thanking God that I'm so blessed, yeah, they show me love. Say, girl, don't teach yourself all that it's good to grow up.
I should have a new device by tomorrow,
And it's all because
so
I'm working on my
it won't be as quiet as it is here. You said this is different. It's because I'm on the laptop. It hits the algorithm different. When I come back, it'll probably be busier again in the stream. So I thought maybe, for the stream. So I thought while it's quieter here, the quiet sessions, when I'm on the phone and you get like the vertical versus the horizontal, which we're on right now, this is the laptop, but the horizontal is the phone. When I'm on the phone, it hits the algorithm different and more people get it. So it's busier in the chat. But while we're here and it's quiet, I thought maybe, I would do some readings for my regulars, if you'd like.
Does it rain in California? Always dream of heaven home. Will they love you when you're famous? Where you never be alone. Hope someday I'll find a partner. I'll be looking down below. I'll be dead at 27. Only 9 more years to go. I got a boy in my head. Fake love, fake friends. I was broken when you left. Now you hear me everywhere you go. Gonna be a superstar. Be the girl you used to know. Playing on the radio. It's suicide. I'm a dreamer on fire.
Let's do some anxiety clearing Reiki. So we'll cut some cords. Hi Dan, how are you?
Got a lot of lessons I need to learn. Got a lot of lessons. My depression and misconceptions and all the mistakes that need some lessons. My depression makes me question. My depression makes me question.
I picked up some crown chakra attacks earlier, so there is Epiphany Reiki, and then also Diamond Reiki, which will clear that out. I really like Diamond Reiki. It's one of my favorites. This will help you make connections, cognitive connections, possibly spiritual awareness, but it's just about, it is what it sounds like, epiphanies. Things just start to click. No. Like people trying to do spell work to basically put spiritual shackles on people. Like spiritual cuffs, some of these people will end up in prison. On the feet, on the hands, on the throat, they wanted to bind people. And then like a cap over the crown because they want to disconnect people from God. Or having, like I said, the awareness to have cognizant thoughts. Things clicking, making sense, being able to put pieces together. They want to keep you confused or keep things hidden now. I saw that. It's already cleared out, but I saw that, and that's where that came from. It's like road blockage with the feet, like road blockage spells. They're binding spells and entrapment spells, basically, or the wishes to keep people stuck or blocked or closed off. Even if it's just, again, ill intent and no wishes. That is the manifestation symbology. That is how it formed. But I know we've had people playing with black magic, so goodness. Yeah, they don't want people to see what's going on. Look, bitch, I see you. Does this say, I'll be your guardian? I'll be your guardian, she said. Yeah, well, there's that.
I don't feel a single thing. Have the pills done too much? Haven't caught up
The backwards mirror still trips me out. Cheers.
And the world feels too big. Like a floating ball that's bound to break. Snap my psyche like a twig. And I just wanna see if you feel the same as me. Do you ever get a little bit tired of life? Like you're not really happy, but you don't know what to do. Like you're in bad life, but you gotta survive. Cause you gotta survive. Like your body's in the room, but you're not there. Like you have empathy inside, but you don't really care. Like you're fresh out of love, but it's getting me.
Their black magic is coming back to them. Sunshine Reiki coming through too. Okay. All chords. Boy, I wish that I could count, 'cause I just wanna see if cauterize those things. Do you ever get a little bit tired of life, like you're not really happy that you don't die, like you're hanging by a thread, but you gotta survive, 'cause you gotta survive. Let's have some more illumination. Shine a spotlight on that shit. Clear out the shadows. Since they look pretty, just flow with the water. Feel the ache in my stomach, but I'll go a little longer. No, it won't kill me, just to try a bit harder. But you will never know, 'cause that's just how it goes. Girls will be girls, hold the weight of the world behind the pain. It's all you know I'm fine. And girls will be there, hold your hand when you can't get out of bed. Sometimes saying you'll be fine, 'cause girls will be girls, 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 will be girls. Girls will be girls, 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 will be girls. You picked me up in the middle of the night. He broke my heart for the 100th time. You knew what to say, you've been here before, and you've seen all the pain that you would ignore. Oh, that's just how it goes. Oh, excuse me. Hi, Damien. How are you? It's lovely to see you.
Knock, knock. Yeah, Charles Barkley? I just moved into the neighborhood. I borrow some Wi-Fi? Yeah, sure, Chuck. That's at the Capital One Cafe.
No. That's Pandora. I just haven't done that one yet, but I probably will. I did upgrade YouTube though. So that's what we're doing for a minute. There were a few songs. The audio is not going to be as clean, but
I've heard enough, yeah, I'm going home. If you're gonna fake it, gonna sugarcoat, I know the script, yeah, I've heard the quotes. You know, I'm not open-minded, I don't need reminded, take all of your bullshit and that bullshit, I'm done fighting. I don't give a fuck, I'm not sorry, I'm done crying.
own party.
We getting blurred, you gon' watch me. Sit hurt and listen to my body. I don't give a fuck. Mind it. Uh-oh. You can save it, I don't wanna know. I've heard enough, yeah, I'm going home. If you're gonna fake it, gonna sugarcoat. I know the script, yeah, I've heard the quotes. No, I'm not open-minded. Uh-oh, I don't need reminded. Uh-oh, take all of your bullshit and that bullshit. I'm done fighting, I don't give a fuck.
I'm not sorry.
I'm done crying at my own party. We getting blurred, you gon' watch me. Sit.
You ain't getting blocked, you gonna watch me. A 14-year-old tried to come at me before I came here. You know, send her. She said she was 14 in her profile, so there are children still harassing me for pedophile. Trying to. Didn't work out the way she thought. I saw that.
I don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a fuck about you. Now I give a fuck about
To be
you.
very clear, this song has been kind of an anthem. I found it yesterday, or it found me. I didn't know this one. And it was actually in reference to some dirty cops yesterday when they came up, and also domestic abuser group dynamic. 2212, but it does seem to cover the karmics in general, doesn't it? Or Nasty X. 2222. But she came in telling me why she was coming to try to bully, and who she was doing it for. And then after coming into my video on my comment section and trying to harass me, told me to leave her alone. I'm like, but babe, you came here to harass me. What is this? It's not fun anymore? It's not fun anymore? What happened? This is what happened.
Did that go the way you thought it was going to go? Nope. Did that go the way you thought it was going to go? Nope.
Whoops. Not my whoops. No. It's no fun when the bunny's got the gun. Remember what I said the other day about cat and mouse? Yeah. Don't do it. You think you're doing something, I'll just sit there and play with my food before it dies.
You and made a mess out of me. Call me an angel.
We went my wings.
So I'll in the burn from the way I feel. And you thought you could cut it off clean. You go from all this pain.
And it's going on
When you hear my name, 'cause we're not leaving.
oh, baby, I'll stay.
Baby, I'll stay. Hey, baby, I'll stay. Baby, I'll stay. Hey, blood on your hands. You can't find enough bleach to wash on. What kind of man can do what you did with the clean conscience? Wasn't your plan? You wouldn't made a mess out of me. Called me an angel and ripped my wings.
So I'm on the laptop for the day. I think that should change tomorrow.
You gon' learn from all this pain. It's gonna hurt when you hear my name. 'Cause when I leave,
Baby, I'll stay. Baby, I'll stay.
baby, I'll stay. Baby, I'll stay. Until I broke. Picked up the pieces and escaped from that war. Now it's your turn to choke. Yeah, baby, I love you, but I love myself more. You would've made a mess out of me.
Called me an angel and ripped my wings.
So I let it burn from the way I did. And you thought you could cut it off. You gon'
That's another
learn
one.
from all.
You get the gist. This one also I heard. I'm ready to switch back to the love songs. How are the nails tonight? They're good.
I don't know your name. I ain't there for you. I don't feel a thing. Nothing left for you. Yeah, me
I'm gonna do
you
this.
fucked up. I ain't there for you. No, nothing left for you. No, I'm not there for you. I was heartbroken. I had my own hand, run my own throat, and you like that. Didn't you? You look down on me. You love to be a God. God damn it. I
Just
did
to
not
understand it,
I just wanted
to show you love, you sick motherfucker.
you to me, I ain't looking for revenge
Or an enemy.
I just wanna be
Dead to you like you're dead to me. I'm not there for you, I don't know your name. I'm not there for you, I don't
don't feel a thing. Nothing left for you.
need it.
You fucked up. I ain't there for you, no. Nothing left for you, no. I'm not there for you. I don't need you.
I like you.
Baby, hear me now. I will never let a man make me feel that bad about myself. I feel like half of the woman I was when I met your bitch ass. Yeah, I admit it. I am much stronger than I ever was. I just left your bitch ass. Yeah, I fucking did it. I don't need you.
Yes, I heard that, Carmen. Why did we do that to her? Do you think that was a good idea? You really thought you'd get away with it, huh? Aww. How sad for you. That wasn't the case.
Know that I should probably wife you up. Baby, I swear I'm done with thee. All the women that only shit to me. You was trying to know me when they didn't know me. But we fell in love, we both word at the home. Way before the rollie, you was just my homie. You were trying to love way before I had it all. We working in the ways. I need to see you. I switch days, meaning I
Damn.
switch shit. Revving my engine, looking back the same. We were only a phase. Baby, you're one to me. Know that I should probably wife you up. Baby, I swear I'm done with these. All the women that only shit to me. Turning down the rest for you. If they call us foul, I'm fighting all the rest for you. You make me a better me. I make you a better you. Rider with the top off, looking like the letter U. Teaching you the language of the universe. No better who. Put you on a pedestal. All eyes on me, but you love me when I had 7 views.
You're looking like I should go have on a baby with you.
And if I'm wrong, I won't debate it with you. I'm up to When you want y'all shoes, they not down for the curves. When I'm up to it, come give me all that. You the only girl I call back. I tell these other women fall back. They be hating on the preview. They think that it's only for the entertainment like E-News. I can see the sequel. Let's do more I-do's and less redos. Baby, you're the one to me. Know that I surprise. Baby, I swear I'm
Love you guys.
with thee. All the women, they don't need shit to me.
Let me light a bit of sage. One more song. Oh, that's fine. Look. It's in the recommended. It's a gift by Sleep Token. This is the one I was going to play though. It's a good one though. I will be watching for your enemies to let them know that they contend with me.
She's so pretty on top. Drop dead gorgeous. I just need more. She a little trouble, no stop. Look in those eyes, real with the heart. She know how to move, yeah. Never get bored, do it right. She know what to do, yeah. She a sinner, she a mood, she's so pretty on top. Drop dead gorgeous. I just need more. She a little trouble, no stop. Look in those eyes, real with the heart. She know how to move, yeah. Never get bored, do it right. She know what to do, yeah. She moved on. She just wanna throw it back, put it on me. Baby, you came on what you wanted. I love it when you move, I know that you got it. We love each other, but we fake it, we toss it. Good God, you can miss that body. We get lost in the right Ferrari. That's good, keep going. That's good, keep going. Baby, go ahead and let your top down.
He said, she's so pretty on, oh, it's 10:22. She's so pretty on top. She's had a little trouble nonstop. Like she's constantly been going through very heavy cycles. People have been trying to cause problems. Need a palate cleanser.
Sometimes fate has strange designs on the lives of mortal men. You think you're just a wholesale grocer one day, and the next, you have a front row seat to the largest domestic military.
Tell me where the sound is better. Was it better here or here?
And that's exactly what
Front
happened
or back?
to a man named Wilmer McLean, who holds the bizarre distinction of owning the property where the battle for our nation's soul took place. Twice. So, today we're investigating how the Civil War started and ended at the same guy's house. But before we do that, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel. And let us know in the comments what other bizarre coincidences you'd like to hear about. Okay, hope you're ready to think twice about home ownership, because here we go.
This audio is not going to be
Born
as good as it will be.
1814, Wilmer McLean worked as a wholesale grocer. Given his place in American history, we'd love to be able to tell you he was a standard bearer for contemporary ideals, but he was actually exceedingly pro-Confederate, like super duper Confederate, a full-on slave owner who married a wealthy widow in 1853, began running a sizable plantation. And by all estimates,
by the
McLean
way,
was a very...
You asked about my nails. Okay, you've got the skull here. Definitely a nod to Nana Rose for sure. However, kind of like the tattoo on my shoulder. Heartbeat, like the heartbeat from a baby monitor, which is actually from my daughter's heartbeat monitor when she was born. And then I did put little sea urchins on this one. Sea urchins. Some starfish, but it says they lived happily ever after. So, they tried to take us out. But we defended ourselves like cute little sea urchins who mind their business, but they do protect themselves. And they couldn't take us out. We're still alive. Oh, I heard this yesterday. No, now I know why. That's hilarious. Okay. Because we have long, happy lives to live instead. Moving on. Heartbeat to the beat of the drums.
Oh, what a shame that you came here with someone. So while you're here in my arms, let's make the most of the night like we're gonna die young.
Okay. Specifically that first line, though. Heartbeat, the heartbeat line. What the heck? That's interesting. Back to the palate cleanser. This is called The Unluckiest Coincidence of the Civil War. The cover photo says the unluckiest homeowner. Oh, I just got it down that maybe he bought a house and then the war started. He was like right in the tracks of the middle of the Civil War. I don't know.
We'd love to be able to tell you he was a standard bearer for contemporary ideals, but he was actually exceedingly pro-Confederate, like super duper Confederate, a full-on slave owner who married a wealthy widow in 1853.
Superfoods.
Began
Like my troll
plantation.
juice.
And by all estimates, McLean was a very successful dude. Of course, it didn't hurt that he married into a wealthy family, because that served as a backbone for many of his initial entrepreneurial efforts. But it is impressive that he managed to pull it off with his notably Lincoln-esque facial hair. Lincoln,
don't listen to everything everyone says just because they say it. Be mindful and use your intuition and intellect.
The property McLean owned was located in Prince William County.
Oh, also, that was another thing.
River in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Okay.
That property featured
that little child from earlier who came through. Hello, thank you. I appreciate that, Zane. She came in all angry and then said, "Oh, I don't understand." I'm like, right. You don't have a reason to be here. You're not mad because you have a reason to be here. You're mad because someone told you to be mad. And now that I've made you kind of question that, you don't really know why you're there. You're just questioning why you got mad because someone told you should be. But that's why you need parental supervision and a better role model. Weird history.
Body of water called the Bull Run Stream, which might sound familiar to anyone who took elementary school level history, as it was the site of the first Battle of Bull Run, the first major skirmish of the Civil War.
Yeah, right. So they wanted to plant seeds of doubt. No. I don't think so.
J.T. Beauregard commandeered McLean's property as the headquarters of the
Confederate
troops.
Who are they?
Pretty aggressive.
You think I should take your opinion credibly?
It was actually a fairly standard wartime practice on every side of the political spectrum. Historically speaking, there are countless stories of insurgent military operations setting up headquarters in the sizable homes of affluent individuals during various occupations.
But don't let it close off your heart.
Every army does it, but the Confederates didn't exactly pick the McLean farm at random. In fact, they didn't pick it all. It was offered to them. According to General Beauregard, McLean provided the Confederacy with valuable intelligence about the area and even offered up the buildings on his farm to the Confederate troops. That included his home, as well as his barn, which was converted into a military hospital. Yes, thanks to his Confederate leanings, as well as the fact that he was a retired officer in the Virginia militia, McLean was ready, willing, and generally eager to help with the war effort. If he had been a younger man, he probably would have even re-enlisted. But unfortunately for him, he was 47 and too old to endure active duty again. It's also worth noting that by that point in his life, McLean had way too...
Angels and guides. That's why I'm here. As we rebuild our lives. Right? Mystical experiences. divine synchronicities working with manifestation. Despite these angry little trolls that came through, right, we'll focus on healing, and I'm actually about to change out of my outfit and into some yoga shorts. We'll go into Gym Bunny yoga mode for a bit. But choose to be here, choose to be present. Right? We have love songs as a palate cleanser from the karmic nonsense. We have weird history as a palate cleanser from the karmic nonsense.
Really much to lose. Specifically, a wife, a plantation, and oodles of money that he had accrued speculating
Does
on
anybody
sugar
need
and other
or want a
commodities.
personal reading?
Nonetheless, he invited the Southern Army
I was
into
going
his
to just
home,
do
which immediately led to some hilarious
while it's quiet
sitcom-style hijinks. For example, on July 18,
readings for my
1861,
regulars. If you guys want
Beauregard was eating
anything, so let me
supper
know.
in the kitchen when a cannonball
I'll add
tore
you
through the
in.
structure and landed squarely in the kitchen fireplace. You might
Let
not
me know.
find that
Gym
so
Bunny,
funny,
that's right.
but Beauregard
Be the
recorded in
best.
his diary. A comical effect of this artillery fight was the destruction
Despite
of the
what
dinner
other
of
people
myself
have to
and
say.
staff by a federal shell that fell into the fireplace of my headquarters at the McLean House. Anyway, the initial battle of the Civil War would begin on McLean's farm just 3 days later, on July 21st, 1861. As we alluded to before, it was called the First Battle of Bull Run.
Who do they think they are? Don't take their opinions credibly. They're mean.
That being
Pick
said,
better
we
environments
respectfully
and
request
people.
that you hold your man-asses jokes until the end.
Also, make sure to get
Whatever you wanna
outside.
call it.
This
The
could be like
battle was done
recycling.
because it set a
This
pretty
could
dark
be
tone for the prospective war.
nurturing
Beauregard led the
animals.
Confederate forces, and Brigadier General Irvin McDowell led the
Using
Union forces. Each side had about
green
18,000
products instead of like
troops, and neither had quite
harsh
mastered the
chemicals.
art of, well, organizing them.
They're
In
better
any
for the
way, at
environment.
all, really. Accounts of the battle characterize it as brutal, sloppy, and almost comically
Me too, Damien.
disorganized. Long story short, the Confederates won, and the Union forces retreated after their defeat.
Here comes the sun.
The Union forces weren't the only ones to flee McLean's farm. McLean and his family had fled right before the battle
Oh,
started.
you want a reading?
You know, so as to not get killed. But after the Confederacy victory,
You want a
they
reading?
decided
See?
to return. Surveying the carnage,
Let's not do this. Hold
McLean
on.
was recommitted to his cause.
That's
He helped house the Confederate wounded in his barn. And after sorting out some internal conflict, he worked to bring in wounded Union soldiers as well. Starting around this time, McLean began working for the Confederate quartermaster. That means he would
Okay,
sell
so
the
honor your
Confederates
feelings.
food and
That's a healing
supplies that the
snake.
war
Healing
effort
in your
demanded.
generation. There's
However,
angel
as
wings.
time passed, McLean, ever the businessman, started to charge them more and more. He brokered sugar and other essentials,
It's telling
and
you to
managed to
sit
make
with your
quite a pretty
thoughts.
penny off the whole deal. One sergeant
Trust
even
your
complained on the
intuition.
record about the very exorbitant
Hello,
prices
how
at
are you?
Amethyst, as if one major Civil
Fill
War
your
battle
cup.
in
You
the
cannot
front
pour
yard
from an
wasn't
empty
enough.
cup.
The second
Make
battle
sure to
of Bull
nourish
Run
yourself.
was fought on August 28th,
In fact, I need
August
to.
30th,
Hi, how are you,
1862, and
Maxie?
it happened in pretty much the same place. Only this battle
This is
was
you.
much
This is
bigger than
using.
the first. This time, the big
Hold
gun showed up, both literally and
I want to hear this. Throat release. So listening to your intuition. Yeah, see, my stomach's like, girl, you need to feed me. It's been a while. I felt it. And then she yelled at me, I heard you, girl. Give me a minute. Relax. Let this be your sign. How are you? Are you doing all right? Gift yourself. Do something kind to yourself. That might just be to take some time out from people or a situation or an environment. Split your focus. Right. Work. Make sure to take rest if you need it. It's time to shine. I feel like there's something about somebody trying to outshine you or make you feel less than or dim your light, but it's like this weird competition thing. They feel like they can't outshine you, or you just being around makes them look less, they look dull in comparison. And so these are people who try to throw shade, clear limiting beliefs, or plant seeds of doubt. Move your body, move your emotions. Right, like I said. Well, vacate the dress and put on some yoga gear for a few minutes. Grabbed an orange. Mandarin orange. Oh, that's yummy. Right, nourish yourself well. Also, I don't usually do this, but I had a cup of my green juice. Oh, happy St. Patrick's Day. I had a cup of my green juice earlier and I put a splash of orange juice in it, and I don't normally, but I was craving the vitamin C. That's also solar or sacral, yeah, like solar, but sacral chakra. Sun Reiki came out, sunshine. Feel, don't think. Okay, so like I said, maybe it's getting out of your head, either to sit with your thoughts or to get out of your head. But sometimes, whether it's, do you like sports? Sports maybe? I don't know, like running or basketball, or maybe it's just yoga, something. But it's some kind of movement. It can release energy. It can, swimming could be me. Somebody might like to drive. Just like the focus on driving can kind of just help your thoughts flow, and or I like yoga for this reason. It's moving meditation. Okay. Thank you guys. Okay, anything else? Let's do the top one. This one's facing up. We'll take that. Inspiration hunt. Do things that make you feel inspired. This could be springtime also coming around. Getting out. There's a waterfall here. Inspiration. What about this inspiration hunt? Hold on. Limiting beliefs. It's about just clearing blocks. Cyberbully. Don't let people make you feel bad about yourself. Intermittent fasting. That's funny. And what did I just say? If it gets to a point where you're just not hungry, then that's just honor that for a second. Make sure to nourish yourself, of course. But sometimes your body will go through a natural cycle. Don't try to push yourself if that's not where you're at. Just make sure to nourish yourself later. Could be helpful for clearing thoughts, but also physical health. Intimate relationships and animals. Something about spending time with either animals and loved ones, or spending time with animals will could also be like spirit totems and things like that, will help you understand or like move through other relationships elsewhere. What's everybody doing for St. Patrick's Day? Does anybody else want a reading? I need a minute to recalibrate. I cleared my energy for a second, so let me know. And if I don't respond, it's because I didn't see it, so let me know. Oh. Do you want a reading, Max? Also, I can do some Reiki, some more Reiki. I was going to do some financial Reiki, and I just heard something about release. This will help release tension or blocks. Even just the mental and emotional. Definitely energetic. Oh, I didn't mean to open this, but I just kind of realized I was doing it. Okay. Transmuting. Okay, go off. Please, you want one down? Let me know, Max, if you want one. No worries. Those don't go in there. Those go in here. Silly me. Let me go change into my yoga gear. And yeah, I put them on low, but I think they need to be, maybe they don't. I gotta double check that. I think they need to be on Maybe they don't. Because I don't monetize these anyway. Like they are, but they're not because I play music. And so the music, whoever's music it is, gets all of that. It's like a forfeit. And I do it on purpose. I don't care. So I'm a music medium. I can't stop being music medium just because I have monetization eligibility. You know what I mean? But I want to make sure that the artists, music artists, get the credit. But I have to double check that, and if they don't, I can turn it off. Although it won't really matter because it only seems to do that when I'm on the computer, which I am right now, and it doesn't do that when I'm streaming horizontally on the phone. So, no big. Let's do this one. Dan. Tea time. That's awesome. Okay, you've had some snakes around you. Be mindful. Seraphim, yeah. Well. So, Seraphim versus snake-headed karmics. It's like two paths of cognizance. Oh, that's so funny. Does that say Fate Morgana? Yeah, well, that's what somebody said about me a while ago. Thank you. Passion, something to do with either heartbreak or, if not heartbreak, then something that your heart really wants to take flight on. Like a leap of faith, maybe? Peddler's Ace, yeah. So it might look like somebody trying to steal something, though. Discreetly, without your knowledge. What is this? Something about the mind being protected. Hold on. The Joker. Somebody's trying to be slick. See the mouse? That's anxiety. And I noticed that some of the cards, they're only showing one of their hands. Like the Knight's holding two hands in front. You can see it's very transparent, but it's like they're hiding something. This one has a mouse, anxiety in one hand, and she's got like the motive hidden behind her back. This one's got a knife in his hand, but his other hand is hidden behind his back. And I was just going to say the Seraphim card also had that one hand behind the back, but still of good intent. And as I look down, you've got two hearts here, the chalice and the sword of healing. So yeah, not the same. The north wind, north node. It's following your highest path as the wind starts to blow. Hold on, one more. But he's protecting himself. And both of his hands are in front of him, although one of his hands is hidden technically, but both arms are in front. Hold on. I want more information. What about this? That was a jump. Technology, raise your vibration. You might need to take a tech break. So what did Dan need to know? Thank you. Intimate relationships, animals. It's weird that those two are coming out together, really, but yeah, there's something about connecting with nature, or like even just taking a walk, getting outside, that will help you tap into this. Might be your perception also. What is this? What is the Medusa thing? What was that Medusa thing? Are you dealing with people? What is this? Dodgy neighbors, love and relationships, overwhelmed, anxiety, the mouse, boundaries. You need to set healthy boundaries. Reframe your memories, right? The mental, the skull with the dragons. Resilience. Whatever this is, you can overcome this. The simple life. The life becomes easier as you put effort into organized and getting organized and minimizing. Okay. Career. Expect a miracle. Drugs. Be mindful. Be mindful. That could be affecting love and career, or definitely your vibration too, that can lower you. Angry people, or help you be more receptive to people who aren't good for you. Be the best, right? It's just about self-improvement. This will help in all areas of your life. Proper nourishment, putting investment into your career. Something about cyberbully. Don't let people bully or push you down. Who's your go-to person? Spend time with people that actually care about you and matter. This will help you heal. Psychic attack. Work smart, not hard. The crown chakra blocks. Communicating using the 4 clairs environment, right? It's like toxic energies. It's kind of very similar to the last one. Toxic energies are trying to come around and make it hard for you to like know what's going on, pick up either what deceptions are going on, or like trust your own intuition or clarity. But by tapping into what mystical experiences, you are on the medium right now, so that's one. This will help you rebuild your life. Okay, tell me about the love card. You were talking about love, relationships, love. Ears ringing. Dreams. You're not a victim of your DNA. Your environment has a huge influence on your life. Okay, not just your DNA, right? There's something about, this will be childhood too. Okay. Healing. Okay. I gotta make sure my regulars all get what they want or need right now first, but I'm so sorry to hear that. Drugs. Yeah, drugs and career came out. So be mindful of like some kind of substances or like people on them, because that could affect your career. Expect a miracle. And resilience and healing came out those, but don't worry about it. Just simplify. This could be getting rid of things, decluttering. I've been doing that too, actually. Stop. Be the best. It's just about self-improvement, choosing what's right for you. And then, right. New opportunities. You do have good things coming, but like there's something about making sure to stay in alignment or not take other people's criticism to the point of like self-sabotaging, right? Somebody says that you can't do something, so you just like stop trying. Don't do that. Unconditional love. You gotta love yourself too, regardless of them. But tell me about the love, because I feel like that'll also drugs. Be mindful of the drugs. Whatever that is. Communicating using the 4 clairs. Oh, also any substances can be blocking your gifts and intuition and ability to think clearly. feeling bad about yourself. Spend time with people who are kind to you. And also dance, music and movement. Like I talked about, moving, meditation. It can be a way to release energy or just focus. Also endorphins, get a little bit of a blood flow going. It will release endorphins and that makes you happy. Just weed. Could be other people. The misjudgments card kept coming out. Could be people misjudging you for the weed. Depending on a career thing too. But you're awesome. Don't worry about it. A lot of people there are people in the world who still think that weed is something that you can overdose on. Like heroin. So, no. Like there are still groups pushing old ancient propaganda about weed today. Don't worry about it. Good. Unconditional love, environment, new opportunities. Yeah, there are better people and environments for you than whatever that is or was. Memory has water. Memory has water. You said drowning. Okay. So, especially when the memory is involving water. Goodness gracious. Misjudgments. Say yes to whatever opportunities are here and don't let the misjudgments of others affect you. What was that thing about water? New opportunities. There might be opportunities for child healing. Sometimes even just acknowledging that is what it is, like an anxiety attached to something. Remember the mouse came out? Could be enough to clear it out. Or like that could even be tied to something deeper, like maybe what you said you almost drowned or something as a child. And so like a question could be, first of all, how old were you? But you don't have to tell me, but just like thinking about this is where my brain goes to. How old were you? And where were your parents? Like, how did that happen? And so if that was the case, if those were viable questions that could lead to a deeper feeling, like towards of neglect, maybe. Or like maybe people don't care about you or prioritize you to the point where something like that could happen, or it could just be, it could be a number of things, but I feel like there's something deeper with the childhood thing. Hold on. Dance and drugs came out again. You know what? The drugs could mean, you said just weed. It could be about that, like breaking that stigma. It says rethink your opinion of drugs, what's good, what's bad. So like people trying to stigmatize weed like it's cocaine or heroin or something. No, don't let them do that. Intimate relationships and animals. You may end up connecting with people or someone that you both bond over animals, or you have animals together. Let's do one more. Superfoods, humor, nourish yourself, and it's okay to crack a joke, especially if they wanted to make jokes at your expense. That was what happened earlier. They tried to come and bully, and I kind of found it funny. And like, thanks for giving me something to giggle about. I just woke up from a nap. It was great. Ooh, sweet dreams and giggles. That's lovely. What a treat. Leave me alone. Oh, that didn't turn out the way you thought it would, did it? What do you mean, leave you alone? You came here to harass me.
I just didn't let you. You thought you were going to bully me. Now you're confused because, well, I don't understand. She said, no, you don't, do you? She started sending me heart emojis by the end of it. She was real confused. Dreams. Okay. Also, you might be getting dreams about your person. I hear you will. Could be around the new moon. Doesn't have to be. Might be tonight. You can call in Archangel Michael for help. Dream protection and guidance to connect you with who and where you need to be, but to steer clear of anything and anyone else that is not for you. Right. Whew. Okay, I'll stop there for now. They're just little mini reads mostly, but yeah, let me take a break for a minute. I need to probably get a snack also. Well, not really a snack. I actually need to eat something kind of substantial, but we'll start with something. Green juice sounds good, but I do need to eat. Oh, the love card was coming out. The love. Hi, Dave. What's up? Love you. Wait a minute. Okay. Though we may be physically apart, spiritually we are always united, for love transcends time and space. Nothing is missing. Let's do one more. Oh, two of them came out. It's important right now to take a step back and spend some time alone. Instead of placing your focus on another, now is the time to give to yourself. That came out with the unconditional love, nourish yourself card, etc. And then sexual union. Honor the place in one another where you are one eternal soul, and for there you will find true bliss. Could be down the line. But I feel like it was more about the first two. For real. Although you may get some dreams. I hear you will. You'll get some dreams. Something about clarity. I feel like there's more to it than that, but I'm being told to just let it be for the night. Go back if you need more help later. Cheers. I want to hear how this finishes.
And metaphorically, over 77,000 soldiers fought for the North and roughly 50,000 for the South, and the generals in charge were John Pope and Robert E. Lee. The Confederates, assisted by multiple strategic moments of brilliance by Stonewall Jackson, won again. Over 15,000 Union troops perished or went missing during the battle. Given his Confederate leanings, you'd think McClellan would be delighted, but not so much. In fact, he had had enough. And despite how much money he was making off the whole thing, he packed up his pregnant wife and got the hell out of there for good. In the spring of 1863, McLean uprooted his whole life and set out in pursuit of greener and decidedly less blood-soaked pastures. To that end, he moved his family approximately 120 miles south to Appomattox County, Virginia, where they settled near a community called the Appomattox Courthouse. McLean later told a friend that he left Manassas with the hope that he'd never see another soldier again. That, however, would not be the case for him. Far from it. McLean had 2 good years in Appomattox, but on April 9th, 1865, an aide to General Lee arrived at his property.
He asked McLean what might be a good meeting spot for Lee and another general, and McLean, who probably just wanted to get that guy the hell out of there, suggested a dilapidated house nearby, but the marshal didn't like it. He was concerned over safety risks, so McLean reluctantly offered his own home as a meeting spot. On the appointed day, Lee, looking clean and spiffy, met Ulysses Grant, who was decidedly less spiffy, being covered in mud and looking fairly beleaguered. It's an interesting sign of the weird dynamic at play. Lee wanted to go out with honor, whereas Grant just wanted that shit to be over. The two generals chewed the fat in McLean's parlor for 20 minutes or so, and then, with the obligatory chit-chat out of the way, Lee finally brought up the topic of the meeting, the Confederate surrender. After that, it only took a few minutes for the Civil War to officially be over. And, spoiler alert,
Okay,
the
guys.
South lost. But they weren't the only losers that day. Apparently, soldiers looking for souvenirs of the occasion cleaned out the McLean house.
No.
According to contemporary reports, one a-hole even took his little girl's doll.
Aww.
After the war ended, the McLeans found themselves unable to keep up with their mortgage payments, so they sold their house in Appomattox and returned to Manassas. They weren't happy there either, though, so then they moved to Alexandria, Virginia, where McLean worked for the IRS from 1873 to 1876. He died in Alexandria in 1882 and is buried at St. Paul's Episcopal Cemetery, in case you want to visit or something. Fast forward to today, and the arc of history has nearly completely forgotten McLean's name. Nevertheless, he was a linchpin spectator in the course of our country. He was a witness to the beginning and the end of the greatest military conflict to ever take place on American soil.
Wild. That's so
Cottage.
Ew. Somebody's mad. Why are you so cranky? B?
There ain't no ghosts in that house, my boss, John, yelled.
This is a Jordan group horror. This is a split video. I think this one's like 25 minutes or so-ish. So we'll watch this one and then go to the true crime, I think, maybe. We'll see.
The victim of this newest tirade of his was Ed, my coworker. I liked Ed. He was a good...
On an early morning in December of 1991, a woman living in Largo, Florida, woke up to the sound of pounding on her front door.
Good guy. Even if a little slow in the head. We'd all heard the noises. Of course, Ed, me, and even John himself. Scratching noises from inside the walls. The sound of creaking floorboards echoing from distant rooms and hallways. And even doors opening and closing by themselves. Now, I don't believe in ghosts or anything supernatural. Those sounds, nothing but the typical sounds of an old rundown building comprising half-rotten beams and crumbling walls. And yet, even I had to admit that the place was kind of creepy. What made the situation worse was our boss. John didn't care for work ethics, work hours, or, well, his coworkers. I'd started working with him a good year ago. Let's just say I wasn't the smartest kid, and after a few questionable life choices, my prospects of finding work were close to zero. John, however, seemed to see something in me, and hired me on the spot. No questions asked. At first, I thought he was a pretty decent guy. A hard worker who'd been running his own little renovation business for the better part of his life. Soon enough, however, I learned what an asshole he really was. He worked me hard, which meant constant overtime. And if I did so much as to question him, or hell, complain, he'd go on a diatribe about us goddamn millennials who never worked a day in their lives. Our newest contract was to refurbish an old, rundown colonial home. Some rich kid had inherited it from his late uncle, and thought the place would be a perfect home for him and his family. He wanted the job done by the end of November, which gave us little more than 6 weeks, but he was willing to pay a hefty sum for it. John, being the greedy bastard he was, agreed, of course, knowing fairly well that it would normally take us at least twice as long. As I said, he never cared much for work ethic, and if the pay was right, he'd not only work himself, but also Ed and me to death. I've got to give him credit, though. Sure, he was an asshole, but I've seen no one work harder than him. He was there right after sundown, and would stay until late in the evening. Before long, however, the long, hard work days were getting to me. Those and the damn sounds. We'd been on the job for no longer than a week when they started. At first, it was nothing but the rare sound from somewhere in the building that you could easily attribute to vermin. Soon enough, however, they seemed to be ever present, as if the house itself were alive, and protested against our presence there. John never said a word about them, and I, not wanting to get on my boss's bad side again, tried my best to ignore them. Just the sounds of an old building, I kept telling myself. Ed, however, was a superstitious man, and had soon convinced himself that the place was haunted. With each passing day, he grew more and more restless, fidgety even. And one day, he finally spoke up about it. "I can't do this no more, boss. All them noises and whatnot." John turned around, an annoyed look on his face, but said nothing. So Ed went on. "I mean, this place. Been working with you for years now. I've never heard nothing like it. Being here after dark gives me the heebie-jeebies. Makes me remember my grandma's old stories about ghosts and... Oh, for Christ's sake, Ed. There's no fucking ghosts in this house." "But boss..." "No, Ed. Shut your trap. Just do your job or you're out. No pay, no nothing. You get me?" Ed was a big guy, but as John laid into him, I could see him grow smaller by the second, as if he was folding into himself. At the end of John's tirade, Ed looked dejected, but gave him a weak nod. I felt for Ed. I really did. And by now, even I felt uncomfortable around the place. At this point, though, I knew little about the house or its questionable history. All that changed one afternoon, when Ed and I went on one of our little secret smoking breaks. "Now, why'd they be spending all that money on a place like this?" I heard someone say. It was an old lady with a phone in her hand, looking over the property's fence and staring at our efforts with a disdained look on her face.
First of all, one of our little secret smoking breaks. Cheers. But two, there's that bit about like somebody trying to degrade somebody. That he was a big man. Ed was a big man, but you could see him shrinking the more the boss laid into him, right? Like, don't let people do that to you. Let's see. I noticed a parallel. It's been a while since we watched movies.
No, Clara, I don't think they're tearing it down. I think they're renovating it. "Excuse me, missus?" Ed spoke and walked toward her. "What you mean by a place like this?" The moment she noticed Ed and me, she almost dropped her phone and quickly ended the call. "Oh, it's nothing. I didn't mean to..." "It's all right. We're part of the construction crew," I cut in. "The place sure is creepy, isn't it?" For a moment, she squinted her eyes at me before she gave me a well-measured nod. Then she stepped closer to us. "Did you know about the former owner?" she asked in a conspiratorial whisper. When both Ed and I shook our heads, she went on. "He was a strange, reclusive man. Never talked to anyone. Never left his home. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, of course, but there are those rumors." "Rumors?" Ed blurted out. "Well, I know nothing myself, but old Elizabeth down the road, she's living right next door. Says she saw people at the house. People other than the old man, but saw no one entering or leaving." I shrugged. Probably didn't. "Now, here's the thing. Old Elizabeth swears they were all children. Young children.
I don't know how or why, but I'm having
Sometimes
less
she
trouble
says she
with
saw
the
them even waving
chopsticks
at
than I
her,
was the fork.
as if to call out to her. Now, I'm not saying anything bad myself or want to assume anything. Elizabeth says it went on for weeks, months even. And then, one day, the old man just up and vanished. Never to be seen or heard of again. Ed's face had grown paler and paler the longer he listened to the old woman.
So yummy.
He just opened his mouth, most likely to inquire about the man's mysterious disappearance, when John's angry voice reached our ears. The hell do you think you're doing? You think I'm paying you to stand around all goddamn day? The old lady excused herself, and
He's a cranky
Ed and I
boss.
had to endure another of John's tirades about our constant fucking smoking breaks. As he ranted on and on, I couldn't help but wonder about the story I just heard. I could believe an old man living by himself. But the rest? The stuff about those children? No, I thought, shaking my head. It's all bullshit. God knows what old Elizabeth had seen or thought she'd seen. Yet, when night fell, a few hours later, a sudden scream reached my ears.
String beans.
It was
Big
Ed.
string beans.
And a few moments later, he dashed past me as fast as he could and straight out the front door. I was quick to go after him, and when I made it outside, he was already sitting in his truck, frantically trying to start it. Yo, Ed, hold on, what's wrong? I called out to him. At first, he didn't even notice. But when he finally did, I saw just how out of it he was. All the color had drained from his face, and he stared at me with wide eyes. Face, he brought out. I saw face. Kid's face. He said it with such intensity, I instinctively took a step back. Ain't no way I'm going back in there, he added. Hey, calm down, Ed. You sure it wasn't a rat or something?
Spicy. I roast
No
them in the
rat.
oven.
I know damn well
But they
what a rat
stay,
looks like.
they're soft, but they
And
stay
that sure
crunchy.
wasn't
Like a crunchy texture when
Where'd
you
you even see it?
do them fresh.
Ed was still rambling on, his story barely coherent. From what I'd caught, he'd been tearing out some of the old rotten floorboards in the old man's former study when he uncovered a hole. When he went to check
I
it
like
out,
to
he
do that
found
when I
someone,
can.
a child, staring up at him. I instantly remembered the story we heard that afternoon, and for a moment I couldn't help but shiver. Then the rational part of my brain took over and convinced me
take a
it was
huge
most
batch
likely
of them and just
attributed
keep
to
them in the
Ed's
fridge.
superstition and an overactive imagination. Maybe you just imagined it because of that story we heard. And you leaving early, Ed? John cut me off from afar. You know what happens if you do, right? No work, no pay. I could see Ed's face contorting, saw the struggle he went through. For a moment, I thought he'd just hit the gas and speed off. But then he slumped back in his seat. Thought so. John spat at him in a condescending tone.
That's rude.
Now what the hell's the matter with you? He thought he saw something, I said, turning to John. John, however, didn't even bother with me and continued to stare Ed down. I saw a face, he finally said. A face below the floor staring up at me. When John heard this, he burst out laughing. You been drinking or something, Ed? No, boss. Not a sip. You know I ain't touched none of that stuff. I heard John grumble something to himself before he went on. Either way, get your ass back inside. You too, Frank. We got work to do. Ain't no going back in there, Ed said in a low voice, shaking his head vehemently. Well then, Ed, John said in a now much harder voice. If you ain't going back in there, you might as well drive off. I need no damn slackers on my crew. Even after that, Ed didn't move. Why don't we just check it out? You know, in case it's... I started, but John cut me off almost instantly. It's bullshit, that's all. Superstitious fucking bullshit. There's no freaking ghost in that house, and there sure as hell is no freaking face below the floor. You heard what the old missus said, didn't you, Frank? Ed asked suddenly, giving me a pleading look. A moment later, John's probing eyes came to rest on me. I couldn't help but sigh before I told John what we'd heard that afternoon. He listened, but I could see the look on his face. Should have known it was something like this. Damn it, Ed. When you hear some stupid story, you imagine frickin' ghosts. You have to admit, though, the place is kind of creepy. I cut in. For Christ's sake, it's an old place. Old places make noises, all right? There are probably rodents in the wall or below the floor. Don't tell me you're believing this idiot story, too. I ain't no idiot. I know what I saw, Ed protested. Well, if there's really rodents below the floor, I tried to defuse the situation. Might as well take care of the problem now. John rolled his eyes at me, but nodded. As we made our way towards the study, Ed huddled behind me like a scared little child, trying his best to hide his enormous frame behind me. The moment we reached the heavy wooden door that led to the study, I had to take a deep breath before stepping inside. I didn't want to admit it, but even I was getting scared. John, however, was already inside, scanning the chaos that was the floor, before he found the small hole Ed had been talking about. Well, what do you know? He said. See, boss, I told you. There's no frickin' face, you idiot. He snapped, turning back toward us. Just a frickin' hole, that's what it is. It is strange, though. Seems to be something down there. Basement, if I had to guess, but there's nothing about it on the floor plans. I went and walked over to him as well, to get a good look at the ominous hole for myself, when I stumbled over something. At first, I thought it was the board Ed had torn out, but then I saw it was a small metal latch. A latch, I said, more to myself than to either of them. John was by my side instantly, and a second later he went down on his knees and started toying with it, trying to pry it open. As I watched him, I suddenly felt cold. That old lady's story came back to me. The children that were never seen again. All those sounds around the house, and now we discovered some sort of hidden basement. Oh God, don't tell me. Don't tell you what? John asked, looking up at me. That story, the one about the kids and... Oh, for Christ's sake, will you stop that? It's humbug, that's all it is. Look, man, I'm not saying there's ghosts down there or something, but if there's anything to that story... John rolled his eyes at me before he redoubled his efforts. A moment later, the trapdoor opened. Right away, a damp, musty smell hit us. But there was something else to it. Something I had smelled before, but couldn't put anywhere. Jesus Christ, John cursed, covering his nose. Then, after a few moments had passed, I watched as he took out a flashlight and illuminated a set of old wooden stairs. In that moment, I knew what that smell reminded me of. Rotten food.
I'm getting full.
I cringed back. That smell.
I don't know if I can finish
Something's rotten. John, I think we might want to call the cops. I think they're... Cause a fucking scene. What the hell do you think will happen if contractors hear about supposed dead bodies and missing children? Wait.
You know what?
What are you... Is that all you care about?
I think I remember that too, didn't I? Like in high school?
Yeah, getting up. You don't care what happened here, do you? You just want to get paid.
I remember that.
That's it, right? Look, Frank, he started. If you want to know if there's dead bodies or God knows what down there, well, you take a look. I couldn't help but stare at him.
It's been so long.
No, I finally said. There's no way I'm going to some creepy hidden basement. With that, I backed away from John and the trap door behind him.
I wouldn't have remembered that if you hadn't said it.
You know what? Fine. You don't have to. You don't have to do a fucking thing here anymore.
But they've just had ads for so long. I forgot that they didn't.
Get the hell out of my sight.
But I do remember
and that bonus I told you about, you can forget about that. At first, I didn't know what to say. But then I couldn't help but shake my head. You know what, John? Go fuck yourself. I'm done. With that, I turned around and walked off. Right past Ed.
Right,
not
angry
even listening
people.
To the insults
Don't
John
deal with
screamed
angry
after
people.
me. The moment I was outside, I jumped into my car and drove off. I had driven for barely 5 minutes when my phone rang. One glance at the screen told me it was John. I didn't bother to answer. Instead, I couldn't help but laugh. Guess he didn't think I'd drive off like that. It rang on for a good half minute before he gave up. Not coming back, you asshole, I said to myself. Yet, only a few moments later, it rang again. And then once more. By the fourth time, I'd had it and answered. What the hell do you want, asshole? I yelled into the phone. Instead of John's voice, however, all I heard was rapid breathing and sobbing. Oh, for fuck's sake, John, I cursed. When I finally heard a voice, however, I knew it wasn't John. It was Ed. His voice was raspy and strangely high-pitched. Something's wrong, he said. Ed? Hey, you all right? Instead of answering, he kept sobbing, muttering to himself. What happened? I understood, followed by a set of heavy thuds.
How are you?
Wait, Ed, what's not opening? Shit, don't tell me it's that damn trap door. When he spoke again, I could barely make out what he was saying. I caught only bits and pieces. Boss went down, didn't come back. Thought he fell. No answer, went down, door fell shut. And then something else. Something he repeated over and over, as if he was pleading with me. No ghosts. A second later, I heard a strange, distorted sound. A moment after that, Ed began screaming. Ed, what the fuck's going on over there? I got no answer. All I heard was Ed whimpering for a few more moments before the phone went quiet again. I instantly tried to call him back, but the phone just rang on and on. Shit, why'd that idiot have to go down there, and why'd he have to drag Ed into this? Fuck. A second later, I turned the car around and was on my way back to the house. It took only 10 minutes, but it felt much, much longer. I hoped, prayed that Ed was overreacting. Hell, maybe by now they'd managed to open that damn trap door and everything was okay again. Yet, when I arrived, all was quiet. I called for both of them, but received no answer. Without wasting another second, I stormed through the building, down the long hallway and right towards the study. Ed? John? You guys all right? Still nothing. Finally, I'd made it and reached the trap door. This time, I heard something. It was nothing but a whimper, a quiet call for help. It was Ed. Hey, it's all right, Ed. I'm here. With shaking, sweaty fingers, I tried to pry open the small latch, but the delicate piece of metal slipped from my grip again and again. Then, finally, I made it and threw open the door. Ed, where are you? The answer I received was another cry from Ed. I activated my phone's flashlight and found him, huddled just below the trap door. His fingers were bleeding. His eyes were wide and his mouth was open in a perpetual, toneless scream. For a second, I saw the bloody marks on the other side of the door, where he must have tried to open it. Jesus Christ, Ed, what happened to you? In an instant, I got a hold of him and pulled him upwards.
I made too much.
It's all right, Ed. It's all right.
But it's okay. Put it away.
At first, he didn't even seem to notice I was
Put
there.
it away.
When he finally did, he screamed again, scrambled past me, and retreated to a corner of the
I
room.
made too much food.
He was completely out of it. Ed, calm down. I walked over to him, putting my hands on his shoulder, whispering to him that everything was fine now. Boss, down there, something happened. And those... He couldn't go on anymore.
Too.
Instead, he put his arm around his legs and began rocking back and forth.
Very protein filled.
Shit, Ed, what happened?
That's probably why I got full.
Instead of an answer, all I heard was Ed sobbing to himself.
Between that and
Fuck. I turned around and stared at the trap door once more. Then at the old wooden stairs. Damn it. John, you down there? You all right? I called out, but still got no answer. Eventually, once I'd made sure the trapdoor was wide open, I made my way down the stairs. Sure, John was an asshole, and sure, he shouldn't have gone down there. But that didn't mean I'd just leave him. When I reached the bottom of the stairs, I found myself in a dark, musty cellar. The only light was the small beam of my phone's flashlight. The first thing I noticed were the cellar walls. They were made from solid brick. But here and there, they seemed to have crumbled to reveal tunnels. Rats, I told myself. Much too big for
I
simple
hear the
rats.
Girl by City in the Color.
Slowly, I let the beam of the flashlight wander around, not taking a single step away from the stairs. Suddenly, the light hit something. A figure in a corner. John? I called out, but then I saw it couldn't be him. No. What I saw was nothing but bones. A skeleton with only a few pieces of rotten clothing still clinging to it. Then I heard something. A single sound, so quiet it was barely audible under my rapid heartbeat, and the blood rushing through my veins. A wet gurgle. I instantly turned to my right, the phone shaking in my hand. This time, it was John. His eyes met mine. He opened his mouth, but instead of words, all that came forth was blood. Jesus fuck, man, what happened to you? I rushed forward to help him. He must have fallen, must have hurt himself, and Ed must have freaked out because of all the blood. Yet, I'd barely taken a few steps when I saw something else. I froze. On the ground around him, I saw figures. Small, childlike figures that crowded around him. I saw tiny hands ending in sharp claws, saw wide gaping mouths, and above them, cheap caricature-like estimations of children's faces. Their hands and mouths were wet with blood. John's blood, I realized. And the moment these things noticed me, I heard the same distorted sound I heard over the phone. This time, however, I heard it more clearly. And it almost sounded like giggling, like a failed imitation of childish laughter. I screamed in sheer terror, stumbled back over my feet, and crashed to the floor. In an instant, one of the creatures dragged itself forward, towards me, and I watched as its body grew longer and longer, becoming nothing more than an elongated mass of flesh. And then, as my eyes focused on that slithering, writhing flesh, I saw it continued and vanished down one of the many tunnels in the cellar's walls. For a moment, time stopped, and I could do nothing but stare in fascinated horror at the surreal sight in front of me. Then, when a tiny, childlike hand closed around my ankle, the trance was broken.
Let me borrow your game.
I screamed in pain when I felt its claws dig into my flesh. With my free leg, I kicked at the hand, at the thing's face, and when it let go, I scrambled for the stairs. I barely reached the first one when I felt its hand close on my leg again. I stumbled, crashed onto the stairs, and behind it, the giggling grew louder, and I heard more of them move, heard more of them coming for me. In sheer and utter terror, I dragged myself on,
colors on the
up
side,
one stair and then another. Ed, I screamed. Ed, help me. No.
Like, look at these patterns on him. He's so pretty. Like a tiger. So pretty. You're so pretty. You show them this side, pretty boy. Love them. Look at those stripes. Oh, so pretty. You're such a pretty boy. Oh, I'm so sorry. I spooked you. Was it loud? I know it's loud suddenly. I'm so sorry. It was scary. Give me that sound. It's okay. Get your little booty right out of there, you silly goose. He activated his flashlight. No. Pretty boy. No, well, sometimes he's vocal too, but no, usually the one that's the other one. It's your brother.
Reaction. I screamed once more when more tiny hands got a hold of me, and I felt more claws all over my legs. With all the strength I could muster, I pulled myself up yet another stair. But then the creature's strength overwhelmed me. In sheer desperation, I clung to the stairs, dug my fingernails into the wood, and then felt them give way. This was it, wasn't it? Just like John, I thought. I'd end up just like John. Right at that moment, a tear-streaked, terrified face came into view above me. And then, a moment later, strong hands reached out for me. As Ed pulled me upwards, I frantically kicked at whatever was behind me until the tiny hands finally let go. A few seconds later, we'd made it back up. In an instant, I threw the trapdoor shut, closed the latch, and scrambled away from it. Fueled by adrenaline, I'd already rushed from the study before I remembered Ed. I turned back to find him just standing there.
Oh no, Ed, what happened?
Still not understanding what was going on. I got a hold of him and dragged the crying man after me. As we hurried through the building, I could hear the same sounds again. The scratching from inside the walls, the creaking of floorboards all around us. But this time I knew what they were. It was those things that slithered through the building's walls and below the floorboards. Once we'd made it outside, Ed's tears had stopped,
Ooh,
but his
spooky.
expression was different. His face was entirely empty,
Kidding.
and all he did was mumble to himself. It was nothing more than,
It's crazy. Let's do this true crime.
Yeah, I feel really rude, and I don't want to not
This
seem
is
like
that
I
chapter.
don't want to cooperate. And if it was up to me, I would just tell you guys everything. But
It was winter 2021, and police were on the hunt for a
think we'll
couple
do maybe
who
like
had
20
fled
minutes of
a
this.
horrifying crime scene. 2 cars riddled with bullets, covered in blood.
The last
One
one.
man lay there, life already
TikTok
having
couple
left him.
murders best
A
friend.
woman pregnant, crawling to try and get help. And if she was going to make it, no one knew. This late February, gunpowder was still in the air. Police, they stood in the
Cat hair.
snow, and a couple
Kitty
were
cat.
frantically packing their bags, gathering all they could as they knew they needed to get as far away as possible from what they had just done. Days later, the police knew who they were looking for. A hunt would begin, taking them from the New World to the Old and deep in Central Europe, from the Czech Republic to Slovakia to Hungary.
we offered Interpol to tell them that we'll fly them private, but Interpol declined the offer.
But at least she was offering to fly the investigators home private, so that's nice. Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike. And in this old video, we are going to Toronto. Good to see you. Been a minute. To talk about a story that takes us away from there. Sorry. See, there was this power couple in the city. They thought so. Anyway, Oliver Carafa and Yun Luli. More like Yum Luli, am I right? We'll get into it. I don't know what I'm saying sometimes. And when a man got in the way of their ambitions, he had to go, because this power couple were straight from HE double hockey sticks. Now, you and I, let's give it a go. So, I know I said Toronto in the beginning, but we're actually going to Hamilton, Ontario. I know, right? Hamilton is a city just south of Toronto proper, home to around 500,000 folk. It's got that mix of industrial grit that Springsteen won't shut the hell up about, and quiet suburban neighborhoods. To the east of Hamilton lies a community named of Stony Creek, an older neighborhood, and you know what? It's a bit of all right, thank you, ma'am. The talk of the town being them places for good eating, plazas, warehouses, and pizzerias, funnily enough, which has almost nothing to do with, I'm going to talk about. So moving swiftly on. How about to the more industrial north side of the creek, as the locals
Somebody
call
having
it?
a bowl of cereal. I see
It
that.
was Sunday, February 28, 2021, and at a warehouse for a company called Colonial Pillars, which sort of does like exactly what it says in the tin, because it's hard to get good pillars these days. A couple was just pulling in. It was Sunday. The warehouse was sitting quiet. No employees, no business traffic, just security cameras mounted high and a wide backlot that wasn't easily visible from the main road. Convenient. Tyler Pratt and his pregnant girlfriend, Caitlin Romano, were not there for no big old pillars. They were there to meet someone. Tyler was to look at some property for an investment business, and he was there to meet his friend. In fact, Tyler and Jordan were even bringing pizza to share at this meeting with their friends. His friend who already owed him $500,000. Folks, it is springtime, finally. You know, this winter, it felt particularly long, particularly crap, but sure, you can't beat it when the sun is back. Sun's out, guns out, time to get out there doing
Sun's
your
out,
thing.
guns
And you know
out.
what's a help? Being able to focus. You know, whether it's on your commute, the vacay day, the work, the whatevskis. And personally, to keep me in the zone every day, I've been using Raycon's Everyday Earbuds Classic. This message is sponsored there, Mike.
So funny.
I love my nerd herd. Oh, he really is doing some workouts. 3 photos.
Well, thank you. You're welcome, ears. I hope they heard that because noise cancellation, I can't hear myself. Everyday earbuds, folks, they come in
Hey,
all
get
colors.
out of there. No,
Blue,
kitty
you got
cat
rose
in the
gold,
noodles.
Even cool mint. Don't eat them.
Those
They'll
are
make you
little cats.
delicious. And get this, they have for a limited time only some exclusive designs. I'm talking Hershey's Silver Foil, Cotton Candy. Raycon's Everyday Earbuds Classic are packed with upgrades. They have active noise cancellation, whether it's working out or just plain working, you can stay focused. Multi-point connectivity, so you can pair with 2 devices at once, and a super comfortable ergonomic design that stays put no matter what you're doing. And Raycon delivers the same premium audio quality as the big brands, but at half the price. Add in over 3 million happy customers and a 30-day happiness guarantee. There is zero
Straight up
reason
snatched a
to
noodle.
overpay. It is springtime, which means it's time for spring cleaning. So refresh your routine with Raycon's Everyday Ear.
Oh, we're done, love. This, excuse me, I thought I had skipped that commercial, but then I was over there. Then I realized I hadn't fully.
Pulled into the rear of the property, away from the cameras. They were supposed to look at a potential investment opportunity and then head to dinner all together afterwards. It was casual, business mixed with friendship, that kind of thing. But there was a tension under the surface
Licking the needle
relating to a
naked.
hefty amount of money being owed. Money that was being requested back, but there was neither hide nor hair of that money. What happened over the following 30 minutes is sort of a mystery still. But those 30 ended with Tyler being shot 6 times and his pregnant girlfriend Jordan being shot once in the heart, leaving both of them to bleed out on the ground as their car was stolen. The killers, both of them, drove past the scene numerous times to make sure the job was done. However, on their final trip by, they saw that Jordan was missing. A passerby had seen Jordan crawling towards the road and went for help.
Hamilton police say the shooting happened at around 7 o'clock yesterday evening, here around this business on Arvin Avenue near Millen Road in Stony Creek. It's a busy road and an industrial area. Staff Sergeant Jim Callender says someone saw an injured woman near the front of the business and called police.
Upon further investigation, the Hamilton Police Service then located a male who was deceased at the scene, just to the rear of that premise there.
Police arrived to the scene 2 hours after Tyler and Jordan first did. Tyler was already dead. Jordan almost, and she would lose the baby she was 13 weeks pregnant with.
Man who was killed.
It is my understanding right now that he was in the process of moving from British Columbia here to the Greater Toronto area.
Callender says the 26-year-old injured woman is in serious condition. Police are looking for a newer model white Land Rover SUV.
And we believe that it has some body damage to it in the lower kind of panel area to it. Just from the evidence at the scene, that's what we believe.
Police are asking drivers with dash cameras who were in the area from 7 to 7:20 last night to contact investigators. The motive behind this shooting is still unknown.
Now, Jordan surviving hadn't been part of the plan because, as you can imagine, after life-saving surgery and 3 days in a coma, she awoke and was able to tell who had attempted to kill her, killed her unborn baby, and killed her boyfriend.
Hamilton police say these are the 2 suspects connected to the city's 3rd homicide, and the pair are on the run.
And it was their good friends, married couple, Oliver
I'm
Carafa
going to put a
and
pin
Lucy
in any
Lee.
of the readings.
However, as the
If you wanted to
investigation
read
began,
them,
the
come back
police,
on the
they
next
were on
slide
the
and
back
let me
foot.
know.
See, Oliver and Lucy had learned that Jordan had survived.
That's
She was
cute.
in a coma, but was due to wake up in a couple of days, and that was no good for them. So they thought, shit, yikes. Best not to hang around.
Police say he and Lee were living in Toronto, but are no longer believed to be there.
We believe they have left the Greater Toronto area, including.
When police finally knew who had committed the murder and the attempted murder, both Oliver and Lucy were long gone. So why had Oliver and Lucy done this? Well, wasn't there just that little matter
Just
of
so that I
owing
can
Tyler
make sure
Pratt
recharging it
$500,000?
as much clarity as
And were they going to
possible.
pay him back? How about no?
I'll catch
Yun Luli, who went by Lucy Li, was originally from Shenzhen, China. Born in 1995. A triplet, as you can see, with big intentions and even bigger boob jobs. The family moved from China to Toronto when the girls were still quite young. The dad, he ran a driving school for Chinese immigrants, and the mom, she ran a wealth management company, which included a Also been a while. Good to see you. Her mom, Winnie Lau, would become a prominent business person, not only in Toronto, but also back in China, rubbing elbows with the elite. Her main gig. In 95. A triplet, as you can see, with big intentions and even bigger boob jobs. The family moved from China to Toronto when the girls were still quite young. The dad, he ran a driving school for Chinese immigrants, and the mom, she ran a wealth management company, which included a life. Also been a while. Good to see you. Her mom, Winnie Lau, would become a prominent business person, not only in Toronto, but also back in China, rubbing elbows with the elite. Her main gig, right, was selling 20-year life insurance policies that allowed clients, once they paid the initial premium in Canada, to move money overseas without the tax man getting a little taste of Rooney. And it all turned out pretty successful. Lucy and her sisters, they had a very affluent life growing up. Much needed, because plastic surgery ain't cheap. You got 3 of them motherfuckers wanting to be TikTokers.
Sibling anthem check. Hi, I am the oldest. I'm the leader of the pack, and all my other siblings just be riding off my back. I'm basically the parent. I keep everyone in line. I've never had a hand-me-down. My shoes, they always shine.
Grace, he's the oldest, who's normally the one that doesn't get hand-me-downs.
I'm not sure if they're robots or just like the look. Lucy Lee would later say, growing up, that her own mother, she was one of them tiger moms, which, is a phrase usually related
Black
to
sheep.
Asian parents having high expectations and being quite strict with their kids. And Lucy fulfilled those high expectations for a bit, selling life insurance policies. I don't know where this is going, but I'm excited. And at the same time, Lucy and her sisters, Jane and Caitlin, they're also running an Instagram and a TikTok. Holy monkey!
We're back. New outfit. It was a quick change, and now we're back.
Sorry, fellas, just gonna pixelate that so YouTube doesn't execute me for showing two Mucho Grande Tatarinos. Their Instagram and TikTok got semi-successful, which made them a little bit of change from sponsored posts and all of that. It's all gone now, but there are still a good few photos online. Some slightly not safe for work, though they never whip those puppies out. Good to know that if we ever run out of fossil fuels, there's enough plastic in them to keep us going for a while.
I'm Jane. This is Caitlin, and this is Lucy. Guess who's the oldest? We'll give you guys 5 seconds. Guys look the same. How are they going to guess who's oldest?
The reason Lucy and her younger triplets started this up was that Lucy was struggling to sell life insurance policies, attract big clients, and thought she needed more life experience. And so the 3 of them took a break from work, with mom saying, okie dokie, here's $5 grand a month. You can take 2 years off work and find yourself. $5 grand a month from mommy. I mean, I'd find the shit out of myself for that much. I mean, that's a pretty good deal, though, for like sitting around looking flash on social media. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. That's $5 grand from a demanding, high-achieving mom. $5 grand to sit around and do absolutely fucking nothing. That's when the TikTok started, but it doesn't seem like it ever really took off. I mean, there's a live Ask Me Anything, and it's sort of awkward, because it takes a really long time for anybody to ask the triplets a question.
Guys, we want questions. We like questions. Others joined. Any questions? No.
Tell where you're from.
We're from Toronto.
Lucy never went back to work, though. When mommy wasn't paying for her stuff, her future husband, Oliver, was. And speaking of, now it was in school that Lucy met her future husband, Oliver Carafa. Oliver was also an immigrant, like Lucy, from Slovakia, moving to Canada with his family come 2001. And he was no bueno from the get-go. So Oliver and Lucy, they dated in school before they actually ended up breaking up because Oliver, he wanted a little piece of Lucy pie. She said no, so Oliver then just went and slept with one of her best friends. I don't know what to tell you. When he turned 19 years of age, this was in 2012, Oliver crashed his car. Now, Oliver was fine, but his friend sitting in the passenger seat was killed in that crash, which resulted in our boy Ollie getting a prison sentence because he was drunk as shit.
The 19-year-old Toronto man accused of drunk driving and killing his friend in a high-speed crash earlier this week has now been granted bail.
Now, the 19-year-old walked out of the College Park courthouse just moments ago in the same clothes he was wearing when he was arrested early Tuesday morning, charged with the impaired driving causing death of his 24-year-old friend, his fitness trainer, David Chang. Carafa must live under house arrest.
He was sentenced to 5 years for impaired driving causing death and criminal negligence causing death. He was also prohibited from driving for 15 years. He initially applied for parole in January 2016, and this was denied due to incidents he had in prison. With the parole decision reading, and what a keen insight this is, the board suggested your behaviors since being incarcerated are indicative of a young man with an abnormal sense of entitlement. You agreed. You present as a person who believes rules made for society are for everyone else to live by, and not you. No shit. I mean, even as you can see in these news reports at the time, he just seemed like this real stuck-up little piece of shit. Everybody said at the time he was far more worried about going to prison than he was for his friend who was killed in the car accident he caused. It was around 2018, 1 year after being released on full parole, that Oliver and Lucy reconnected over Instagram. And boy howdy did they ever. They were living together after their second date. I'm still not sharing straws after the second date. The couple, they got this condo together. Oliver worked in sort of a little bit of everything. He was a salesman. So what he could do, he did. And he often did business back in Europe, where his parents had returned to. The couple, Oliver and Lucy, they even got married on one of those trips to Europe. And it was all very spur of the moment, but I guess that'll tell you how much they got going on, up here. It was spring 2020 in the depths of the pandemic. And the couple, they were living together and they were kind of going stir crazy. So they decided to go on a little holiday back to Europe, back to the motherland of Slovakia. Now, Oliver, he could go no problem because he was a European citizen. But Lucy, she couldn't go because she wasn't European. And in the pandemic, they weren't allowing non-nationals to fly. So literally while they were at the airport in the line to board the plane, they found a marriage officiator on Zoom and got married there and then. They then spent a couple of months in Europe before coming back to Canada. And it was when he returned to Toronto that Taela realized there was a lot of money to be made. But you know what they say, you got to spend money to make it. He needed a whale. Enter Tyler Pratt. See, Oliver's idea, and what a whopper it was, during his time in Europe, he saw that hospitals and medical centers, all of that, they were in dire need of personal protective equipment. Couldn't get enough masks, gloves, that sort of thing. So Oliver, being the good soul that he is, he thought to himself, wow, millions of people are dying and people's lives are being ruined. How can I make money off of this? I'll buy PPE equipment in Canada, ship it to Europe, sell it at a premium. Legally, ain't nothing wrong with that, pal. Just morally, you're below a Cocker Spaniel. So, a mutual friend introduced Oliver to Tyler Pratt, who was a high-level dealer of the devil's dandruff. Tyler was like a multi-millionaire from dealing. He even made like $1 million in one day. Now, Tyler always described as a very nice guy, but I mean, he's still a drug dealer at the end of the day. He wasn't like a street-level drug dealer. He just made lots of calls and did big shipments in and out of the area. Tyler was originally from Vancouver, having 2 kids there, but had recently moved to Toronto with his pregnant stripper girlfriend, Jordan Romano. Tyler seemed to be scarier than he actually was. He came from a large and loving family in BC. He coached kids hockey. And along with selling the devil's lettuce and dandruff and all those other devil's body parts, he had a diamond company and a wellness supplement company. But his real income, those good old nose clams. Jordan herself, she was from Ontario and moved back and forth between Toronto and Vancouver. And she would say her fiancé Tyler was always somebody who put his children first. And come 2020, he was looking to start to go legit, move away from, well, the stuff that'll get you 20 to life. Tyler and Jordan had a good-ass life. They took care of each other. No issues, never. They had been together for about a year by the time of, well, what happened. Oliver and Tyler, they had a meeting together, they sized each other up, and Tyler thought Oliver's plan of sort of extorting medical people back in Europe, thought it was a great idea. Fuck them. Within just a few days of the meeting, Tyler sent Oliver $170,000 to invest, to start buying PPE supplies in bulk. And over the following few months, he would send him a further $330,000. Oliver and Tyler, they kept in touch. They became best friends forever. They started hanging outside of doing business deals together. They ate poutine together. They went to Tim Hortons together. They went to Leafs games together. I'm running out of Canadian things. They bought each other gifts. They talked about opening DAC clubs together. They had a beautiful, blossoming business relationship together. Tyler Pratt
They ate
and
poutine
Oliver
together. I'm
Pratt.
running out of
Not
Canadian
just a business
things to say.
relationship, a personal relationship. It was all gravy, except for one little thing. It was actually quite hard to get PPE equipment in bulk in Canada because, can I shock you, Canada also had a bit of a pandemic problem, and hospitals and people in the area in Toronto, they also needed that shit. So to cover up this bad investment, Oliver decided to quite simply lie to Tyler about what his money was doing. On the side, Oliver was trying to set up all these other business ventures. None of them worked. And after a while, Tyler was kind of curious about his money. Now, what Oliver did, he would forge these bank statements from bank accounts in Europe showing how much money they were making selling this PPE equipment in Europe. Oliver would tell Tyler, they were making like 70 grand per shipment. Oliver told Tyler and his girlfriend Jordan, I have $3 million with your name on it. And yeah, as you can imagine, over time, Tyler has invested $500,000 of his own money, expecting profits of $3 million plus. After a while, he was like, money me, money now. Where money me? He wanted to start getting a taste of those profits he was hearing about, but not seeing. Eventually putting a deadline of March 1st, 2021. And, the thing about Tyler is, always described as a very nice guy. Still a drug dealer, still involved with people who kill each other. If he doesn't get his money, he's not going to take Oliver to court. Oliver started panicking, and it was Lucy who came up with a stall tactic. Life insurance. She offered to set up Tyler and Jordan with a policy that was worth $1.5 million. If they paid the first premium in cash of that life insurance policy, the profits of the business in Europe would pay every premium after that. So essentially, they were getting their profits from this business tax-free. And also, Lucy told them they could take out a loan against that life insurance policy. All of what I just said was complete horse shit, and Lucy forged documents to show them this is how it could go. Plus, I just can't resist a good old life insurance policy. However, that didn't stall for too long, and as the day neared, when Oliver needed Tyler's money, he began to think of, maybe a different plan here to make Tyler go away and also not destroy his own reputation. Oliver and Lucy set up the meet for Tyler and Jordan, February 28. They arranged to meet at that warehouse, telling Tyler that it was actually owned by Lucy's rich mom. And Oliver said he had another business venture he wanted to show Tyler. He wanted to turn the warehouse into a weed growing operation. Tyler said, sure thing, and they arranged to go out for dinner afterward. Then, the day off, to cover up their tracks for the planned double murder investigation that was coming, both Oliver and Lucy left their phones at home to make it seem like they never went anywhere. That day, Oliver left the apartment via the stairs, which had no camera. Lucy left via the elevator, wearing a wig she had used in one of her Instagram posts. Oliver actually switched cell phone SIM cards with a friend so he could contact Tyler and go to him, while the SIM registered to him would say he was elsewhere. He switched with a friend named Fee Chin, and then later on that day, after the upcoming shooting, they switched back. So, as you can imagine, this would make it look like Fei Chin was at the scene of the shooting, according to phone records. He then bought a new car, which he drove to the meeting so his own wouldn't be recognized on CCTV. And even before the shooting, he had arranged for his new car and Tyler's own car to be broken down. Lucy's own Mercedes safely back at their condo. They then waited round back for Tyler and Jordan, who had brought pizza to share with their friends. Oliver and Lucy met with Tyler and Jordan. They were supposed to show off a grow house. Tyler even brought money himself for the possible investment. And Oliver started bullshitting. He said there was a realtor who was supposed to meet them there to show them around. Lucy was even sent to find a lockbox for the warehouse key. Lucy and Jordan sat in the car. Jordan saying Lucy was unusually quiet and poorly dressed, as she usually dressed to the nines. I guess Lucy didn't want to get blood on her nice clothes. However, Tyler soon got a bad feeling. At that meeting, Tyler began to realize that he was being bullshitted, that something was up, and he started to get angry. It was then Oliver pulled out a 9mm and pointed it first at Jordan, who was still sitting in the car, and he opened up on her. He then turned it on Tyler Pratt, killing him, shooting him dead. Jordan would say that, although her memory was cloudy, Oliver's face suddenly changed, and he whipped out the iron, pointing it first at Jordan, who was still inside the car. Oliver said to Jordan, "Get out of here, Joe," then immediately started shooting her, so not much of a help. Jordan panicked. She put the car into reverse, while Tyler remained, and all she heard her fiancé say was, "What the fuck, bro?" Then Jordan says she blacked out. Next thing she remembered was Oliver dragging her out of the car and dumping her on the ice-cold pavement. Oliver and Lucy took their phones. They dragged Jordan out of the car, stole their car, and off they went, later abandoning both Tyler's car and their own newly bought car. They returned to the scene a few times, the final time noticing that Jordan was no longer there. Jordan hadn't been killed. She had crawled to safety, and the cops were coming. Now Oliver and Lucy realized they were supremely screwed and made plans to leave Canada. They knew they had to run. CCTV would show them leaving their condo at 3 a.m. on March 1st, about 9 hours after the shooting. They then drove to Muskoka and parked at a general store, leaving Lucy's car there. They stayed at this general store for a few hours till it opened at around 7 a.m. The couple then soon went in, used the restroom to buy some drinks and some snacks. And the staff remembered this good-looking couple, this guy with brown hair, this Asian woman, and then they left once again. Employees at this store would later find a garbage bag. Inside was a blonde wig, bloody clothing, and 49mm bullets. Oliver and Lucy arranged for a taxi to take them to Toronto. They then got a subway to Union Station, and from there traveled up to Montreal, where they sat in silence as a bus brought them to the airport. They arrived at 4:40 p.m. They boarded a flight to Germany that connected them on to Prague. Lucy carrying nothing. Oliver a bag filled with about $17,000. That was money that belonged to Tyler Pratt. He had brought that for the business venture Oliver was showing him. Instead, he was shot dead. In the meantime, the police were trying to solve this shooting. They initially arrested Oliver's friend, Fei Chin, as his phone said he was there. But he was able to explain that Oliver had switched SIM cards with him earlier on that day, something I'm sure he was very appreciative of. It was 3 days after that Jordan woke from her coma and could identify who had shot them, Oliver Carafa and Lucy Lee. By March 4th, warrants and public announcements were issued for their arrest.
Lou Lee, 25 years old, are both wanted on the charges of first-degree murder and attempted murder.
The warrants are related to a double shooting in this industrial area of Stony Creek Sunday night.
An investigator posted an appeal to social media today, but was not available for questions.
We believe that Carafa and Lee are aware that they are wanted in relation to the incident and are actively evading police. Oliver and Lucy, if you're seeing this, we encourage you to turn yourself in.
Carafa was in jail until 2017 for this 2012 drunk driving
When was
crash.
the thing?
in
I
which
know that
he
there are
was
people
found
who are afraid that
responsible
I'm going to
for the
turn in
death of a
reports
friend.
and they're in
According
trouble.
to the Hamilton Spectator, he is originally from Slovakia in Eastern Europe, and his parents returned to live there. The report also says Lee's family reached out to her through Chinese language media, urging her to cooperate with police. In their appeal on social media today, Hamilton police tagged several European news agencies.
We are working closely with international authorities, and we are positive that our investigation will lead to your whereabouts. We will continue to relentlessly pursue you.
By this stage, the couple were deep in Europe. After arriving in Prague, ahead of the news of them being wanted, they stayed with a business partner before getting an Airbnb. They then took a train to Slovakia and stayed with Oliver's parents. It was by then that the warrants were out, and they were alerted. The police are after them, including Oliver's parents. However, Oliver's parents tried to hide Oliver and Lucy, later saying they'd already lost their son once to the Canadian justice system. They didn't want to go through that again. I mean, fucking hell, lads. And they took them to a friend's house, where, according to Lucy, two strange men appeared, claiming to be Europol officers, and were telling Oliver and Lucy that they could make the warrants disappear. Oliver's dad paid them about 250,000 euros. Lucy's mom about 200,000 euros. So Oliver and Lucy's parents paid, in total, to make them disappear, about 550,000 United States dollars. They definitely got suckered by some human trafficking gangsters.
Yeah,
The more the merrier. The more bad things happen to them, the merrier we will be. Oliver and Lucy were then whisked away. They lived under fake passports at this time, Oliver going by Jakob Nichte and Lucy by Ying Feng Nichte. They were eventually taken to Magyarország, across the border, and ultimately landed in an Airbnb in Big Budapest. And then they were just chilling. In fact, Oliver and Lucy were told that the warrants had gone away and they could just act normally. However, they were not. And on June 12th, 2021, bounty hunters from the KORNNI, which is the National Investigation Bureau of the Standby Police, some kind of hot shit Hungarian police, they tracked them down in the party district of Budapest and nabbed them in the middle of the night. They had been working closely with Canadian authorities. Womp womp. They had been on the run for 103 days.
The massive fugitive hunt ended here in scenic Budapest. New images show the suspects flanked by Hungarian police in a part of the city known as the Party District. Police say the two traveled through Slovakia and the Czech Republic and on to Hungary, where they were surrounded as they walked down the street. After Hamilton police got some information and relayed it to their counterparts overseas.
Wow.
Now, Lucy, she immediately waived extradition and was sent back to Canada. Oliver, though, he was like, he thought he'd just chill in Europe for a little bit longer. He actually wanted to go back to Slovakia because he was saying this, of course, that Toronto's not safe. It's very, very corrupt, and his life would be in danger if they sent him back to Canada. But Lucy seemed like she was actually happy to be back in Canada. And Lucy, dirty little dog, she turned into a bit of a tattletale.
So right off the bat, you're not impressed with Tyler and
Right off the bat, I say do not associate with these people because they're not good for our social image, and because she's a known Hamilton stripper, and Tyler is known in Vancouver as like a scary gang member, according to some mutual friends that I feel really rude, and I don't want to not seem like I don't want to cooperate. And if it was up to me, I would just tell you guys everything. But my lawyer and my mom strongly instructed me not to say anything, and they said that they're on my defense while you guys are not on my defense. So I don't know. I just feel like I shouldn't say anything until I speak with them on Wednesday. I think they said that they're going to come to me on Wednesday.
She spoke a lot in the police interview. Now, she would say, I'm not talking about the murder, an attempted murder, but she kind of wouldn't shut the fuck up about literally everything else.
Oliver has a PPE business, so that part I knew.
Yeah.
And
Was he looking for investors in the PPE business?
I have no idea because Oliver and my relationship, he deals with the finances and the business, but he doesn't really, he tells me the gist of it, but he never really tells me like the figures, what he's doing, and it's always been like that since me and Oliver's been dating.
How long have you guys been together?
We've been together for almost 3 years, but we've known each other since high school.
She was complaining that when she was extradited from Hungary back to Canada, she had to fly economy, like a pleb, rather than the first class she was usually used to.
My coach was a little.
And I feel really bad for the officers that had to come to get me because they had so many stopovers. And I feel like I really inconvenienced them.
Well, I'll tell you what. They got to spend a couple of days. Our service was good enough because they had to go, there's only so many flights.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to be there, I think a day or two before they met with you.
Yeah.
And our service allowed them to take some annual leave time, and they got to spend some time seeing the city and seeing the sights. And I had a chance to talk to both of them for 5 or 10 minutes, and they weren't inconvenient, so you don't worry about that. They're
yeah, me and my mom was really concerned about that, and we offered Interpol to tell them that we'll fly them private, but Interpol declined the offer.
Yeah, we can't accept things from things like that. We have to do things. We have to follow the rules.
Lucy claims to know nothing about the scams, which already sounds like a lie. In fact, she said she didn't even want Oliver to do business with Tyler, setting up her defense as an unwilling accomplice. Lucy was later granted bail, which is mad because she participated in a bit of an L murder and attempted murder. Her mom, her rich mom, wealth management life insurance lady, had to cough up $2.7 million, but Lucy was out on bail for a bit.
Bail was granted today for Lucy Lee, one half of a Toronto couple facing murder charges in connection with the shooting in Stoney Creek last year.
Young Lucy Lou Lee was released from custody today after her family pledged $2.7 million in bail.
For about 4 months, Lucy was out of jail till she decided to just go partying and start communicating with people she was forbidden. It was forbidden for her to communicate with these people. She did anyway. She went back to jail. Her mother had this to say about her breaking her bond conditions. She never imagined for a moment that her daughter would do something as thoughtless, selfish, irresponsible. Bitch, please, she killed somebody and fled to Europe. In the meantime, Oliver arrived back in Canada, the trial beginning in 2024. It was 3 years since the shooting. They were both tried at the same time. Oliver's defense pointed the finger at Tyler being a scary guy, connected to dangerous people, and that Tyler had threatened Oliver in the past. The shooting was in self-defense. Tyler once said he would break Oliver's legs. He knew biker gangs, the Hells Angels. The defense said. Lucy, she laid it all at Oliver's feet, saying she didn't know the killing was going to happen. She was scared. She didn't know what to do. She knew Tyler was connected to scary people, so she needed to go on the run. Yada, yada, yada. She testified, Oliver didn't. She didn't know the shooting was going to happen. Of course she didn't. That's why she went to the elevator in disguise and avoided showing her face on CCTV. She said Oliver told her to do this. She then ran away with Oliver, who told her she was in danger. But she didn't actually know what had happened. She never saw anything. And the defense really tried to portray her as this sort of ditzy bimbo who was naive and tricked into doing or helping do something horrifying. Oliver was the mastermind. Lucy just wanted to doom scroll on TikTok. In fairness, in that interview, she does seem quite stupid. Lucy would say at trial, quote, I don't think I'm clever. Sitting here today, I think I may be the stupidest person in this room. In the world, maybe. I married a guy who shot not just a woman, but a pregnant woman, as well as another guy. And I missed so many red flags. I continued to be in love with him. And I really feel like an idiot right now. I mean, that's sort of Lucy there in a nutshell, though, She's on trial for a murder and attempted murder, yet she acts like she got scammed out of 20 bucks. Sharp as a cue ball, this one. Ultimately, both were found guilty on all charges.
Lucy Lee and Oliver Carafa have both been found guilty of first-degree murder and attempted murder in the killing of 39-year-old Tyler Pratt and shooting of his pregnant girlfriend, Jordan Romano. First-degree murder carries an automatic life sentence in prison, with 25 years before parole can be considered. The judge also sentenced the pair to 15 years each for attempted murder, concurrent to their life sentences.
Both Oliver and Lucy were sentenced to life in prison with no parole for 25 years. Both remain in prison to this day.
That's
Oliver is
terrible.
still filing appeals. Lucy is searching for a new lawyer. Jordan, one of the victims in this case, from her TikTok seems to have moved to Miami and started fresh. I think that's fair for her to do so. And Shanae, folks, that is the story, the beautiful story of Oliver and Lucy, Dumb and Dumber. Hard to think they could get any more cold-blooded or
Dumb and Dumber. I thought that's what he was going to say. Cheers. 1, 2, 3. Rock climbing. I hope you enjoy your visit. If there's anybody, like I said, that I missed that wants a reading, come back. If not, tomorrow, whenever I'm live next, and check in. We'll do that. Also, some more shadow journaling, so be ready for that. For those who want to join me, Hungarians, no, they're family. Gotta protect them like babies. They're babies. One more. Cheers. Two 22 on the count. Please remember to pray. Do no harm, take no crap, and I will catch you, darlings, on the next one.